Hey everyone, I'm Tony from SB Production. Chances are if you're watching this video is because you're wondering which DAW should I use, which one is the best out there. So you're probably watching this because you're wondering which one should I use. Well, I'll try to simplify this for you. There's no really good DAW out there, the best one in the world. I know that there's rankings out there. You see #1 DAW in the world. Today is, I don't know, PreSonus Studio One. Tomorrow, then in 6 months from now, you're gonna check because it's Pro Tools. It's all on a review base and how much it was sold and so on, so on, so on. So as I say, personally, there's no best DAW out there. It's the best DAW is the one that works for you. Humans are creatures of habits. So if you've been using something for 10 years, regardless, it doesn't have to be a DAW. I don't know, you have this guitar that you've been using for 10, 12 years and you love the feel of it, and you know, and then someone's coming and giving you another guitar brand new, even for free, chances are that you're not going to use it. You're still going to use the one that you've been using for the past 12 years because you like the way it feels, you like the way it plays. The DAW is the same thing. People out there, they swear by Pro Tools. My philosophy behind Pro Tools is the oldest software out there. It's been out there for such a long time that there is so much users, and a lot of them don't want to switch. Either because they don't have the time, either because they're used to it, whatever the reason is, they won't switch. People that just started recording, let's say, 3 years ago, they had Cubase. And they've been doing good with it. You know, it suits their needs. You know, there's no major production behind Cubase, which, you know, there's different versions that you could use. There is a PreSonus One. There is different versions. There's Artist. There's there is a professional version. There is, you know, there's the free version. There's everything out there. So the reason why I'm trying to do this video is to try to make you look for your own DAW. Try not to watch like 50 videos and try to fill your head with, oh, that guy says that that's good in that one, that one says it's that good, that one. Listen, all of these companies, they give you demos. That's what I did. I was a Cakewalk user when it was with Gibson, which now it's BandLab. I was using that for maybe like 3 years, just doing little things around here, doing small recordings and having fun and playing with it. So when I decided to launch the production company, I decided to see if there was something else better out there. So I downloaded Pro Tools, I downloaded Logic's, Cubase, PreSonus One and everything, and I went through these DAWs for about maybe close to 6 months to finally stop at PreSonus Studio One. The reason why I like it, the editing of it is super for me. That's what works for me. There's the mastering sections, and there's a bunch of things that I liked about it. So I did the switch. I had the chance to do the switch, and it took me about a year and a half before I actually came and said, okay, now I'm gonna open the studio, and Studio One is gonna be my DAW. So maybe some of you guys out there don't have the time to do that. You know, maybe some people have so much work that they cannot put that on standby and, you know, for 6-7 months and learn a new DAW, or do that part-time and keep going with the other work. You know, either you do the switch or you don't. Some people use 2 DAWs at the same time. People like to record with one and mix with another and master with another. You know, it's gonna be all personal choice. So my advice to you is go ahead, download all of these demos and see what suits best for you. I find that for a home studio, PreSonus worked best for me. The plugins are very, it's compatible with all the VSTs out there, VST2, VST3s, and which that's another reason why I chose it, because Pro Tools uses AAX format, and AAX format is not supported by every single company out there. So that's another reason why I went to PreSonus. So, but as I say, I don't say Pro Tools is bad. For all you Pro Tools users out there, hey, that's fine. There's you know, I'm not knocking Pro Tools. It's just for me, for my needs, is PreSonus Studio One. So again, just go ahead, do the research, try all the demos out there and pick what's best for you. I'm going to give you my insight on PreSonus Studio One. I'm running 4.5.1 right now. The 4.5 update that just came in is an awesome update, a lot of extra features. So let's get going. Okay, Here we are with Studio One 4.5. I will show you why I switched and what I like about the new update 4.5. Number one reason why I switched is the editing part. Studio One makes it very easy. So I guess that if you recorded drums before, I'm sure that you've already seen this. You know, where you have your old drum set, all different tracks, all going at once, and you know, grouping. Obviously, most of the DAWs out there do that. What I like about it is when it comes to edit and time the drums. Let's say drums, bass, whatever you want. Pro Tools makes this easy. I have this set up to my pointer, and then as my alternative tools is a split. So meaning, if you're on top of the track, at the bottom, it's the arrow. You could grab this, move whatever you want, left and right. And if you're on top, this is the selector tool, which that's what I chose here, right here. The smart tool here is if you go at the bottom, it becomes your arrow. For me, if you hit Control, it's cut. Control Alternate will move the track inside the box. I'll give you an example. Let's say this is a drum hit right here, and you see the guy was a little bit ahead. I mean, this is fine with me, but just for the sake of editing, okay, you're gonna go at the bottom, you're gonna hit Control on the keypad, it will turn into a little split tool. If you let it go, it's the arrow. Cut, you cut, and you go at the bottom here. When you see a little arrow, then you hit Control Alternate. This always for window, and this turns to this little tool here, and you move things over. And then you go and then you time it. Then you can go ahead here and move things over, and you know you want this like this. Editing everything with those two buttons, and for crossfade you just hit the X, and there's your crossfade right away. No need to bring one over and this and that. That's why I like the editing, and it makes editing drums, bass, whatever you want, so much easier. You know, here I'm gonna show you. Let's do these 3 in a row just to say. Let's say they're not perfect. Here you go. You go like this. Edit X. Move over. You keep going. You keep going. Say, oh, I don't like the way this guy was hit over here. I know. Well, that's perfect, but I'm just using this as an example. Again, Control Alternate. Move it over wherever you want. X. Crossfades. Pop over. That's it. It's that easy, and once you get the hang of it, you fly through a drum track in no time, and editing drums for you is going to be a piece of cake. That's the number one reason. This little portion here, we could go ahead and move things here with a touch of 2 simple buttons without making things too complicated. Sold me to PreSonus. The other thing that sold me to PreSonus is the zooming. Obviously, you could have your little bar here. You could go back and forth, you know, just like Cakewalk has, Pro Tools has. They all have this little bar. And then we have the data bar here. You see? Like, that's that. But what makes it amazing is, watch this. You go at the top, you left click, and you go up and down. And you zoom. This is so amazing. You could browse through a song at a glance. You go like this. Oh, I think it's around this area here. There was a mistake. Boom, grab right down, and then you could go ahead. This zooming thing here, that's amazing. That's another reason why I switched. This is one of them. The edit window, especially for MIDI. When I was using Cakewalk, MIDI editing was kind of long and tedious, which now is very simple. We have this piano part here. Let's have a listen to it. Let's say. So you see, like, these are small piano parts that were added. By the way, this is a song sang by, this is a cover that a friend of mine wanted to do. His name is Andrea Romeo, and he wanted to cover this song. He loves this song, so he came ahead in the studio, and he recorded his guitar. His son came and played bass. My son played drums. It was an awesome project. It was done in like one day. It was super fun. So anyway, back to editing. It said you edit MIDI. You click right on here. There's your edit window. Click right there, and there's your MIDI. There's your MIDI right here, and all the same functions apply. You could go right ahead and zoom up and down. You could drag, right. You could copy paste. You could elongate your note. Then there's the velocity. You know, like, the note that actually you're using is here. You can make it louder, softer, modulate, whatever you want. The pitch of the, you could almost anything in the small window. You can still edit. You could also edit audio, which you come in here. It's just that in the edit window, you don't have the alternative tool here you have. Remember that I was saying you go at the bottom of the track and it changes to whatever you want. This one doesn't have that. So if you actually have to kind of split, you got to come here and you could, you know, split, back and forth again, just like the main window in the edit, and then you could crossfade like that. Okay, so if you ever want to know what the option is, let's say you want to, if you over something, you're gonna see, oh, split tool is number 3. So if you hit number 3, let's say you're here and you hit number 3, it becomes a split tool. If you want the eraser, it's number 4. 4 becomes the eraser. This one is tool number 1. So if you know your shortcuts, you could go right ahead in here and go 3, cut, control alternate, move back and forth, S crossfades, and you're done. So yeah, also everything is at a glance, at a keyboard touch away. So that's also pretty cool. The other reason why I liked is the mix window. The mix window, believe it or not, you could double up an effect, just actually copy it by just dragging right next to it. Let's say like this one is a setting of a compressor that I put on this vocal track right here. So let's say I like the way it sounds, I like the way this whole setup sounds. I could just move it right over, grab it, drag, drop, and then you could drag, drop, and then all these settings turn over to that one. You could save this as a chain. If it's something that you see yourself using a lot, you could save it as a chain and come back and boom, insert it right in there. It's pretty cool, drag and drop. Also, drag and drop for the effects. Let's say, I don't know, in there you want some, in this track, I say, oh, I feel like having a little bit of delay, drag, drop, and that's it. It's done. If you click between tracks, it will actually go to those effects that are on that track, and all your effects are right here on top. You can actually toggle right through them from beginning to end. It just go to a track and boom, just like that. Another reason why I switched to PreSonus is in the mix window. Bussing, I find it very easy to bus, create groups back and forth. I just love the way this interface looks. It's very smooth. It's very appealing to me. So for me, it's appealing to my eyes is a plus. I love it. The fact that you could shrink, you know, let's say you play the song and you don't want to hear the whole thing, you know, you just mixing volumes and stuff like that. You can see everything is going up and down. You can see the stereo tracks. You can see mono tracks. You see how much compression is going on the track. The yellow is actually the compression going on. And at a glance, without going back and forth, you know, you can bring it back here like this. And then these are your main tracks. You see all your inputs, outputs, everything is there. You have your sends. I don't need to get into details with that. Also, a thing that I like is in the grouping. I'll give an example. Let's use the drums here. If you look at the drums in green, which I have 2 sets of drums, I'll let you know. If I move a fader, there's just one that moves, right? That's the way I had this set up. If you want to change that setup, it's right here. You hit the little grouping here, and that's new in 4.5, which I love it. You could pick the way you edit that group, meaning editing will edit the whole group. As we were in the previous video, you know, you cut, you paste, you move over, it will edit the whole group. You could put the volume, the inserts and sends, and so on and so on. So let's just for experiment's sake, let's turn all these on and let's go back to here. So let's say here I feel that this overall drum set sounds like this. I want to add a little delay, right? So we open our browser window, take the delay, grab it in there. It added the delay to all of them. Okay. And if you move your volume, the volume goes to all of them like that. Also with the sends, if you decide to have a send here, it's going to go to all the tracks. Why? It's because when we had this little button here, I put all those on. Now let's remove all these, and then you're going to see, oh yeah, forgot the mute solo. I'll see it like that. You see, mute solo. That's because that little thing was on there too. So yeah, so if you remove all these, the volume, so just the way I like to edit my drums, because while you're listening to a drum set, if you want to just raise the bass kick or whatever you need, you could just do it like that, which before in the old version, the second that you created a group, the volumes were they all had to go at the same time, and you had to click alternate. You had to press alternate and go on the actual fader knob to actually have just that fader move. So with this option, you can actually have it off and pick what is edited as a group and what is not edited as a group. Amazing. Also, this they added in 4.5 this phase inverter. In phase inverter, I guess most of you guys know what is a phase. A phase is when two microphones are phasing each other out. Before PreSonus, we had to use this little mix tool here, and when you drop the mix tool in there, it would right here, and you had a little button here, invert phase, and it would invert the phase of that track. Now we don't need to add that little thing anymore. They had it right here. Just click it on and off, and whatever, you're ready to go. And mind you, that extra step of adding a mix tool at the beginning and clicking was not the end of the world, but the fact that they put it there, awesome. And if it's a stereo track, you can invert the phase of the left and the right, as you can see here. Stereo track, because these are MIDI tracks. Now another thing is the gain button. Also, Pro Tools had this before PreSonus, and they implemented it here, I believe, but don't take my words for it. But I think Pro Tools had this before. This is a game changer for me. There was a lot of times where, for some reason, the track just came in a little too low. Maybe I had recorded tracks from a customer that came in, and for one reason, that track was way too low. And no matter what plugins I put there, I didn't want to push the plugins too hard. I didn't want to raise too much gain in each plugin. So I ended up having a very low mix and having to push the limiter when I was mastering. And there's always that one or two tracks in the mix that sadly you don't have control of, because those were sent to you that were a little low, and that's why they were sent to you. This little knob is your miracle worker right here. So with this knob here, I could just do my main mixing and just do all the tracks at -6 dB. So when it goes to mastering, there's still plenty of headroom to do whatever you need to do, like with the mastering. So yeah, PreSonus, great job on this. I love this. This is an awesome feature that was added. So that's the reason why I switched to Studio One. Also, in the feature 4.0, there was a chord progression. There's markers and stuff like that. There's a bunch of things. I'm sure you guys could research all that up on YouTube. So in my next couple of videos, I will show you how I mixed this song with Studio One. It's as I said, this is a song that a friend of mine did, and I'm going to show you why you're going, oh, Tony, why do you have drums and drums too? Well, I'm going to show you why I did this, and how I inserted my MIDI tracks, how I edited bass and stuff like that, and what I used to mix, and so on and so on. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to try to go more in detail by using this song of the different features that I used in Studio One to mix the song and how I mixed the song. So okay, so that's it for me, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a comment, and if you guys have any questions, or you want me to do a video, or there's something that you're missing that you want more info of, if I do get enough demands, I will make you guys a video on that specific subject that you guys asked for. Okay, so that's it for me, I guess. So see you guys soon.